Hey there. My name's Angela Manderfeld. I'm a registered dietitian and certified diabetes care and education specialist. Today, this video is going to be about how to get off insulin. Now, obviously, this is just for people who have type 2 diabetes. As people who have type 1, we don't have a tried and true way to really get off insulin, given that the pancreas in type 1 is just not making any at all. Now, a couple of disclaimers. One, obviously, if you're trying to get off medicine, you need to be working closely with your doctor. My advice today is just to kind of help you get started down that path and know what to be looking for. So my first tip to you might seem a little counterintuitive, but if you want to get off insulin, you got to take it first. So that's the first step. So if your doctor has prescribed you insulin, it's probably because your blood sugars have been in the 2s and 300s. Your A1C is probably 9% or higher. And so your doctor has decided, hey, we've got to protect your blood vessels, your organs, we've got to protect the body and bring that sugar down. And insulin is our best tool right now. So if that's you, make sure that you're taking your medicine as prescribed. So I know it's hard and it's easy to forget. So set up a system to get consistent with it. So a lot of times people have the misconception that they have to take their medicine like right before they go to bed or right when they wake up. Well, we have medicines now that are a little more flexible. So certain types of insulin, there's more flexibility in when you take it. So what I usually tell people to do is, if you eat dinner every night, and that's a habit, that's something that you always do and it's about the same time within a couple hours, take your medicine, take your insulin shot with dinner. Because a lot of times people say, oh, I take it before bed, but I fall asleep. So troubleshoot some ways to be consistent. Try to pair up the insulin shot with something else that you do every single day to help with that consistency. So that's the first step, is to take the medicine. Again, might sound counterintuitive, but if your doctor has given you some information on how to adjust your insulin based on what your morning blood sugar is, do it. You might actually have to go up a little bit on your insulin before it's time to come down. Okay. So that's the first step. You're asking why. If I want to get off insulin, why am I taking it? Why am I going up? Well, here's the thing. When people have high blood sugars on a regular basis, it impacts your mood. It impacts your energy level. It impacts your willingness and ableness. I don't even think that's a word. To do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. So when your blood sugar's in the 2 and 300s, you don't feel like taking a walk or maybe doing meal prep. Really, all you want to do is take a nap. Your energy is zapped and you're feeling tired. So we have to find a way to get that glucose, that sugar, out of the blood so that your body has some energy and you feel like, okay, I'm a little clearer in my thought. I have a little bit more energy and I feel a little bit more motivated. So that's the first step, take your medicine. Second step is we're going to slowly start shifting eating habits. We're not going to cut carbs out completely. That's not the greatest idea. It's not usually sustainable for most people. I have nothing against low carb diets. I don't even have anything against keto. But what I've found by years of working with people is most people don't want to do that extreme of a meal plan or extreme of eating style for the rest of their life. So if it's not something that you're going to continue, why start it? So the first step is just slowly shifting eating habits. So what that might look like is adding an extra serving of vegetables, maybe to breakfast, lunch, dinner, or maybe just lunch and dinner, or maybe just dinner. But we're going to increase vegetables. So the vegetables I want you to increase are non-starchy: broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, bok choy, anything that sounds good, onions, mushrooms, that kind of stuff. But your non-starchy vegetables, you're just going to add an extra serving. So add an extra half cup to a cup of those cooked or steamed vegetables to your lunch and or dinner. And if you can do it at breakfast, more power to you. But that's your first step, is just slowly shifting some eating habits. As you begin to increase the vegetables, those foods don't tend to make your blood sugar go up. You're also going to make sure you're getting about 20, 30 grams of protein at each meal, which is not much, maybe 3-4 ounces of protein. So that could be fish, chicken, beef, whatever it is that you like. And then you're still going to include carbohydrates, but just not going overboard on them. So that's the first step in the slowly shifting the eating habits. And that's all we're going to say today. So that's increasing vegetables is the main thing, making sure there's protein there, and maybe a little bit smaller amount of carbohydrate. That's where we're going to start. The next thing is try to go 13 to 15 hours from dinner until you eat breakfast. Now, this one gets a lot of people when they're trying to come off of insulin. And the reason is because maybe in the past you've had a low blood sugar reaction with insulin. So what I've seen that's actually quite common is people will take a snack before they go to bed because they're worried that their blood sugar is going to go too low. And this is called feeding your insulin, which we don't want to do. You know, if you're taking this medicine to lower the blood sugar, but it's causing you to go too low, that's a sign that maybe you need a reduction in the amount of insulin that you're taking. It's not a sign that we want to add in more food. So definitely talk to your provider, your diabetes educator about that, because you don't want to feed your medicine. You don't want to snack before bed. You want to try to go from dinner to breakfast without eating anything and still maintaining good blood sugar control throughout the night, not dipping too low and not going too high. So that's something to really look out for. And if your doctor has given you instructions on how to adjust your medicine, do it. Most people will lower their insulin about 2 units every couple days if their fastings are starting to drop down, especially if they start dropping under 100 or they get low blood sugars throughout the day. But these changes that we're talking about with the eating habits and not eating from dinner until breakfast, trying to wait 13 to 15 hours from dinner until you eat breakfast, that's a way to improve your sensitivity to the insulin that you're taking. So that's one thing. The final thing is movement. And I'm not talking about an hour walk. If you move after you eat, say 10, 15 minutes of marching in place and watching TV, getting on a treadmill, taking a walk outdoors, dancing, shooting hoops, anything that just is some consistent movement for about 10 minutes or so, it works kind of like a rapid acting insulin would. The other option is lifting some weight. So if you have some hand weights, doing some overhead press, bicep curls, that works longer, like a longer acting insulin. So weights are very helpful in helping you to reduce the amount of insulin that you need. If you're not ready for that, you know what? The first 2 steps will help you. And that's taking your medicine and slowly shifting your eating habits. If we can add that 13 to 15 hour overnight fast, and then maybe start adding 10 minutes of movement after a meal, that's just going to make this happen more quickly. So I have a client right now. We started working together about maybe 6 weeks ago. Her blood sugars were in the 2 and 300s. We had to go up on her insulin, but as of this morning, she doesn't need insulin anymore. She's waking up with her blood sugars in the 90s to 100. When she checks her blood sugar after meals, it's 105, 106. And she hasn't even started exercising yet. She's just been focusing on slight changes with her food. So if she can do it, you can do it. Hopefully that's helpful. Definitely send me a comment or question if there's another topic that you want me to talk about in the future. Take care.